Hello, I'm Warren Martin, Executive Director of the Kansas Oil Museum. In September of 1915, the small prairie town of El Dorado, Kansas, was a typical agricultural community that consisted of approximately 3,000 individuals. The town was sustained through broad ranching operations throughout the Flint Hills and a brand new crop that recently came on the scene called Kaffir corn. It was a typical agricultural community, but all of that was about to change. On October 5, 1915, exploration activities carried out by a small team of geologists resulted in an oil strike of major proportions, the Stapleton No. 1. It brought about a new influx of population and a new way of life for the people of Butler County. The discovery and development of the newly discovered El Dorado oil field would change not just one small town in Kansas, but the whole country and perhaps even the world. The search for oil was far from scientific activity. In fact, many of the men who drilled the first tentative wells in Kansas had more in common with gamblers than geologists. City service hired geologists onto their crew. Many wildcat drillers at the time laughed at them. The philosophy they espoused was, if you drill and you get it, you've got it, and if you don't, you haven't. But geologists like Charles N. Gould and J. Russell Crabtree were undaunted by their opponents and kept on day by day with their methodical survey of Butler County's surface features. Despite the mockery, this very first scientific exploration of a prospective oil field paid off. Today, we would not consider locating a hole now without the advice of a geologist. Stapleton No. 1 began an oil boom that was fueled by innovation, investment, and risk-taking of entrepreneurs who, through their actions, initiated a legacy that would have far-reaching implications and should be a challenge to us to continue that legacy of innovation, investment, and risk-taking in order to bring about a change to our own lives and the lives of people around us. Following the strike of Stapleton No. 1, newspapers followed the progress of the new wells in breathless detail. At the El Dorado field zenith in 1918, this single field was producing some 29 million barrels of oil per annum, consisting 65% of Kansas oil production and 9% of the entire nation's output. The price of a lease skyrocketed from $1 an acre in 1915 to an average of $25 an acre after the Stapleton strike, and even went so far as to reach the exorbitant price of $3,750 an acre in one case. Butler County's population nearly doubled in size between the 1910 and 1920 state census, from 23,000 to over 43,000 people, with most of this growth taking place only in the latter half of that 10-year period. Oil towns like Oil Hill, the largest company-owned town in America, sprang up almost overnight. But even so, there was not enough housing to meet the needs of all the workers. The prolific El Dorado field supplied a large amount of the oil that went towards fueling and lubricating the trucks, ships, and airplanes that came into extensive use during World War I, the world's first mechanized war, lending credence to the statement of a local newspaper editor, Rolla J. Clymer, that oceans of oil helped float the Allies to victory. The boom lasted through the 1920s. As oil men became wealthy off the natural riches of the county, they turned to other pioneering ventures, funneling their wealth and vision into building up Wichita and developing it as the soon-to-be proclaimed aviation capital of the world. Companies such as Beechcraft, Travel Air, and Cessna all saw their birth as a result of Butler County oil money. Now, 100 years later, after the strike of Stapleton No. 1, the legends and the legacy of that initial oil boom continue to live on. In fact, it impacts multiple areas of your life every single day. It was that strike that fundamentally changed El Dorado, Butler County, and had a major impact on the world, and continues to do so to this day.